My name is Nolan Lucas. Today I'm going to talk about steroids or PEDs or performance enhancing drugs in sports. And the reason I chose this topic is because I've always been really big into sports and I've seen people use steroids and steroids are considered cheating. So I chose to do this topic because it is very controversial in the sports world. So steroids have been used for a long time, for many years, by many different athletes, and many have been caught and been punished for it. So although people use steroids and think they help, they actually do much harm to their bodies and are cheating, and people should not do them, I think. So the reason people take steroids is to increase their chance of winning or doing better. So it's the easy way out, basically. So first of all, I'm going to talk about what steroids are. Secondly, I'm going to talk about the damage that steroids can do to someone's body. And third of all, I'm going to be talking about some past steroid users and the punishments they endured for using steroids. So as stated by the Mayo Clinic in 2015, there are mainly two kinds of steroids, which are anabolic steroids and androgenic steroids. I'm mainly going to be talking about anabolic steroids, which are muscles, which is what athletes use. Then there's androgenic steroids, which are things such as to make your hair grow more or deepen your voice or things like that. So there's mainly two ways to take steroids, and there's a pill form, which is orally, and then there's a needle, which you inject it into your muscles, and it's faster and more effective, but it's much more dangerous. So now I'm going to transition into the damage that steroids can do. So steroids can do both physical and mental damage, like very heavily on a person. So some of the physical things that steroids can do is, in men, they can increase their breast size, they can develop baldness, they can shrink their testicles, they can develop acne. There's a much better risk of tendonitis, which is injury on your muscles. You can have liver problems, heart problems, high blood pressure, and there's many more. And then the mental side, you can develop aggressive behavior, you can lose your balance, you can have difficulty sleeping, and you can have increased appetite. So steroids are very damaging to your body and your mental health. So now I'm going to talk about some past users in history of athletes. So as stated by Matthew Jussum in 2018 from Men's Journal, one of the most famous steroid cases is Tyson Gay. He was a track and field athlete in the Olympics, and in 2012 he won a silver medal for an event, and then in 2013 he tested positive for steroids. And after he tested positive for steroids, he was banned for a whole year from the Olympics, and he also got his medal taken away from him. So another big athlete that used steroids that was punished for it was Manny Ramirez. Manny Ramirez was a baseball player and is one of the greatest hitters of all time. But Manny Ramirez in 2009, when steroids were really big, he tested positive for steroids, and he was banned for 50 games. Then a couple years later, in 2011, he took steroids again and tested positive again. This time, they decided to give him a 100-game suspension. But instead of the 100-game suspension, he decided to just retire because it was too long and he didn't think it was worth it. Another athlete I'm going to talk about is Lance Armstrong. Lance Armstrong is a famous cyclist known as one of the best cyclists of all times. In 1999 to 2005, he had 7 straight Tour de France wins. And then later on in 2013, he came out and admitted that he used steroids. And after this, when he came out and admitted he used steroids, he didn't get any punishments, he didn't get any of his medals or trophies taken away, but he did lose about $75 million in endorsements. So overall, steroids are very bad in sports and are very controversial and should not be used, and it's cheating, so there we go.